The champions of the Super League, St Helens. They have Paul Wellens at full-back. The three-quarter line is Sean Hoppy, Kevin Iro, Paul Newlove and Anthony Sullivan. And at half-back it's Tommy Martin and Sean Long. The forward pack, Sonny Nicol, Kieran Cunningham, David Furley, one of the new faces, Chris Joint and another new face, Peter Shields in the second row, and Paul Sculthorpe is the loose forward. And the bench is occupied by Tim Yonkers, Vila Matautia, John Stankovic and Anthony Stewart. And the coach, of course, is Ian Millward. The Saints, they will be in good voice here tonight. So important that St Helens get off to a flying start in the match. They have to defend early, Phil. They've got to be in it, really, you think, with 20 minutes gone.
Perhaps been a case in the last few years when British sides have met their Australian counterparts that they haven't been able to live with the pace of the game in that early stage, and that was certainly a case last year when Melbourne were just too strong for St Helens and really effectively kill the game off in the opening quarter.
Let's take a check on the way the Broncos line up. They've got Darren Lockyer at fullback, Lottie Takiri, Stuart Kelly, Michael De Vere and Wendell Saylor. It's Sean Berrigan and Scott Prince, a brand new half-back combination for the Brisbane Broncos. The forwards, well, they look formidable. Shane Webke, Luke Pridis and Petro Sivanasiva. Gordon Tallis, the new Broncos captain, Dane Carlaw and Philip Lee. And the substitutes, Chris Walker, his brother Shane Walker, Ashley Harrison and Brad Myers. And the coach, we've mentioned him so many times tonight, Wayne Bennett. We're just waiting for the players to emerge from their respective dressing rooms. There's Wendell Saylor right at the forefront of your picture. And, well, it's a massive night for Gordon Tallis as he leads the Brisbane Broncos out. But, Phil, a lot of these names will be not very familiar to British viewers and British supporters, but they have been being groomed in the background by Wayne Bennett for this very opportunity to take their first-grade spots.
A large amount of pressure on these young Brisbane players. I'm sure a lot of nerves being felt by them at the moment. They know they've come over here. There's the reputation of the Brisbane Broncos club that they must uphold. And they come out tonight against a fired up and well-charged St Helens side. You see Ian Millward there just now casually pacing around the dressing room, preparing his players in a relaxed manner now. All of the preparation has been done, and really it's a case of going out and working on the things that they've practiced.
What a wonderful opportunity for St Helens, and Ian Millward himself says not many town teams get the opportunity to call themselves World Club Champions. It normally is a tag reserved for cities. For the town of St Helens tonight, they have a great opportunity to write a little bit of history.
It's called a World Club Challenge, and that's exactly what it is. A challenge now that the Brisbane Broncos have thrown down to St Helens. Can they match it with the best in the world? It's a test for them, but usually when the players ask the big questions, you see the real quality arise.
Well, the St Helens support was so important to them when they won the grand final at Old Trafford. It is a very sharp night here in Bolton. It's dry, thankfully. The pitch looking a little bit bare in places, but absolutely perfect, and there isn't a breath of wind. So conditions perfect for Chris Joint and his team of champions. And the big question now is, can they reproduce the form that they took with them to Old Trafford, and indeed they took with them to the JJB Stadium to knock Wigan off their perch almost in the playoff series. Chris Joint alongside Gordon Tallis. The teams emerge. The fireworks lighting up the Lancashire sky, and St Helens and Brisbane ready to do battle in the World Club Challenge. Match referee, an Englishman for this big occasion, Stuart Cummings. So it's the 2001 World Club Challenge, two worlds colliding as St Helens take on the Broncos. It's a Sky Sports production, live in widescreen in Dolby surround sound. Well, all the pre-match hype just about over and done with, but before we start the game, a very, very sad moment indeed, because today the Brisbane Broncos lost one of their foundation owners and director, Mr. Paul Morgan. Mr. Morgan, 54, was a former chairman of the Broncos from 1992 to 1995 and was one of Queensland's highest profile businessmen. He died suddenly in Brisbane this morning, and he is survived by his wife Sue Ellen and 5 children. And so, not unnaturally, the two teams will line up tonight in a minute's silence to the memory of Paul Morgan, former chairman of the Brisbane Broncos, who so tragically died earlier on today. So now, can St Helens follow witness from 1989 against Canberra, and Wigan 3 times against Manly in 1987, Penrith in 1991 and Brisbane in 1994 to claim the World Club Challenge for the British game? It's going to be the Brisbane Broncos who will get this game underway. St Helens to have the first use of the football then here. Two worlds collide in Bolton. St Helens against the Broncos. The match is underway. Underneath the kickoff, young Paul Wellens tips the ball inside. Drive forward by David Furley. Good drive as well. First touch from Furley on this, his official debut. Sonny Nicol to carry the battle forward. Pre-match, all the talk was about St Helens and their preparation for this game. They want to be here this year. Cunningham.
What a good start from St Helens. 4 good runs almost up to the halfway line.
Cunningham gets to his feet. Long was the dummy half. There's the kicker, Tommy Martin. Charged down, but fortunately for the Brisbane Broncos, Philip Lee was there to gather in the loose ball. Here now is the big man, Sivanasiva. Good tackling though.
There we see the charge down kick. Pressure on Martin early.
Broncos in possession. Gordon Tallis, their talisman, their captain, disappears underneath 3 white jerseys. Luke Priddis is the man at dummy half, and then this new half-back combination. That was a good ball from Scott Prince, but good defence on show here from St Helens against Sean Berrigan. Play on, says the referee. Crowd saw something he didn't. Loose pass. Sivanasiva drops on it, and Anthony Sullivan drops on him. Sullivan, by the way, who has got a testimonial year coming up, we're told, beginning on February the 1st, 12 months, first St Helens player for a long time to be granted a benefit at Knowsley Road, and we wish him well for that.
Well taken Bob there by Paul Wellens. That'll help his confidence. Very little pressure on him, but we're relieved to get his first touch in. See the speed of the Brisbane defence now moving up. Good run by Sculthorpe.
Terrific run from Paul Sculthorpe, and the referee's whistle blows. Penalty to St Helens.
And just look how quickly they want to go on with it. Tommy Martin's kicked a touch. They really want to take the Brisbane side on at pace.
Here comes David Furley again. The Broncos, of course, know all about David Furley, formerly with the Newcastle Knights. New signing for for Super League 6. There's another. Shields, good ball offloaded to Cunningham, and Cunningham disappears under the challenge from Michael De Beer.
That's a tactic we'll see tonight. Saints love to hit the short side, take it into field where they are now, and then come back to where they've just run from.
Hoppy gets to his feet. Long was the dummy half, and he finds Tommy Martin. Martin then gets it away to Chris Joint. This is a good start from St Helens. 2.5 minutes gone, but let's not tempt fate. Long with the scampering run again. Sean Long gets the ball away. Joint can only hack it over the dead ball line.
Inventive play from Sean Long, decided to take on the Brisbane defenders. The speed close to the line has been so dangerous in the past. The ball back inside to Joint, not to hand.
Well, there is the St Helens captain, played all 4 World Cup matches for Ireland. 2 tries in that grand final against Wigan. He won the Man of the Match award. Peter Shields on the defence now for the Saints against Shane Webke. Cunningham and Sculthorpe in there also. Pridis, the dummy half. Here now is Gordon Tallis taking on Iro, but St Helens look up for this.
Look up for it, all right. They've driven him back there. Gordon Tallis, that'll boost the confidence of the team when you see your teammates forcing the guy back towards his line. Again, good defence from Nicol and Cunningham.
Sivanasiva hit the deck. Pridis with a great little run from dummy half, one of the most dangerous runners from dummy half in the NRL. Philip Lee gets the ball away. That's Darren Lockyer with the kick over the top. Another good claim by Paul Wellens. What a difference this year for Paul Wellens, the established #1 at St Helens. This time last year he was filling in at hooker for the injured Kieran Cunningham.
Darren Lockyer obviously trying to find space between centre, between the winger and the fullback, but good positioning from Paul Wellens. He took it on the full, and that's helped the momentum with which Saints now can counter-attack.
Got a glimpse there of Ian Millwood, the St Helens coach. Boy, how he would love to have a team under his charge in Super League 6 that could be called World Club Champions. Iro with another run. That's the last tackle. Stuart Cummings holds the hand up, signals it's on the last, and it's with Long. Saints running it. Martin, dink over the top. Oh, it just didn't come up for him. And Lee is able to run the ball back for the Broncos.
Well, on 2 occasions now, Saints have looked dangerous. The little cheeky chip over the top from Martin. Brisbane will be relieved the bounce in their favour. But can the Saints defence live with this pace in the very fast opening stages?
Here's one of the big danger men, Wendell Saylor. And Webke to take it up, but that's great defence again from St Helens. They're flying into the tackles.
Sculthorpe picked out Webke and hit him ball and all.
Philip Lee once more. He's missed by Furley. The ball gets away to Tallis, but the defence is there. Shields and Cunningham. Luke Pridis is the dummy half once again. They go the right-hand side. Prince to Berrigan. Further wide it goes. This is a great run. Good tackling though by Newlove. Kelly made the break, and Newlove stuck to him like glue.
Good backline shot from the Broncos. They've decided they want to use the pace of Stuart Kelly. Great defence from Paul Newlove. Skims him out of play.
He's got some pace, has Stuart Kelly, a close season signing from Brian Smith's Parramatta Eels. But Paul Newlove then was equal to the task. Newlove, who missed the grand final through injury, making his 400th career appearance here tonight. And there he is, getting to his feet.
This is a tough spot now for St Helens to get out of. Brisbane want to trap the Saints down at this end of the field in that corner.
Sonny Nichols' drive met by Tallis and also by Webke. Here is Long, he looks left and finds Sculthorpe. Oh, the ball, was it knocked out of his hand by Scott Prince? The referee, Stuart Cummings, sees it a different way, and it was a mistake from Sculthorpe.
Ambitious option from Saints. Sculthorpe, they had the numbers of 4v3, but he couldn't find the man. And they've coughed up possession deep inside their own half.
Well, this is the first real test of their defence coming up. 6.5 minutes gone. Prince feeds the scrum, finds Berrigan. Berrigan goes wide again to Kelly, snatched by Tommy Martin. Berrigan again. Now then, Philip Lee trying to take on Furley and Newlove, and Furley the man who got to him first. Darren Lockyer has joined the line, gets it away to Dane Carlaw. Good defence again, Martin and Joint this time. Pridis will come this way. Berrigan, scampering run. Nicol waited for it with help from Cunningham. He's hauled down. That's 4 tackles gone. Nice run, Prittis. Good tackle, Joint. Last one. Brisbane within 2.5 metres of the line. Trying to pitch one from dummy half. He's over, is he? The referee wants to go to the screen. I think Berrigan has got it down. I think Berrigan, in the first real attack, has got the ball down for the Broncos.
Well, this would be a shocker for St Helens. The softest of tries you can concede. On the 5th tackle, dummy half just decides to go hard and low and just to get over the line. Uses a player maybe in assistance to get towards the line. Wellens, well, from that angle, very difficult to see. Clearly has the ball down, and it looks from his right arm, the angle there, that the ball is over the line.
Well, at this point, Phil, I'd be asking Steve-O to make a judgment. So it's up to you.
Well, I think you'd have to say try. Sonny Nicol didn't quite get tight enough. Wellens is behind Nicol. Now, whether he uses Prittis in an illegal manner to get over the line, certainly clearly gets the ball down. This would be a real blow to the Saints' chances.
Well, he would after the start they've made. Berrigan waits, as we all do, and here comes the decision. The try is given. Sean Berrigan with the try. Substitute in the grand final in August. He played in all 3 playoffs games and got a vital try against Cronulla. He's got a vital try here tonight.
Well, we've talked about the attacking options of the Brisbane side, and you would never imagine really that the try would have come in such a simple manner. Determination and toughness here from Berrigan, puts his head in the danger area and drives for the line. Everybody, perhaps even the Saints side, expecting the ball to go out wide, but he just decided the simplest way to score was going hard and low. First try to the Broncos.
Yes, the first real examination of the St Helens defence, and Sean Berrigan comes up with the try. I'm afraid that they failed. They were a little bit soft in defence then, the Saints. It's Michael De Vere now lining up this conversion attempt. He's about, 15 metres in from touch on the far side. Inside the 20-metre zone. De Vere, who kicked so well, the leading point scorer for the Broncos last year. And he's off to a great start. So are the Broncos. They've weathered the early storm from St Helens, and Brisbane lead by 6 points to 0.
Well, it's a very simple game, Rugby League. St Helens conceded possession in their own half, and 5 tackles later, Sean Berrigan did the easiest thing and just dived over the line.
They will say that Chris Joint was impeded by Luke Prittis. He just couldn't get to him.
They may have an argument, but it won't help the scoreboard.
6-0, the Broncos lead. We've had 9 minutes. Promising start from St Helens, but that has now evaporated because the Broncos have got the first try on the board, but Saints will look to respond, and quickly too. Prittis, the dummy half again. Here is Lottie Takiri, moved in off the line. Prittis again. Prince. It's the ball away to Dane Carlaw, and Cunningham and Joint managed to get him down. 40 metres away from his own line. Tallis with the drive. Met by Martin fiercely and Newluck. And in the end, the Brisbane captain hits the deck. That's the last. Good defence here on show from St Helens. They're right on halfway, the Broncos. Prince trying to move the ball wide. Oh, they have done too. Beautiful play. Lockyer got the ball away to Prince. That went forward anyway, and Sculthorpe gobbles it up. Here's Iro. Iro still. Good play from the big man. Big match player is Kevin Iro.
Saints need now to respond. It's easy for them to just sit back in a hole, but they've got to try and carry on playing. Don't just take the easy options. Do what St Helens do so well, and that's throw the ball around and attack.
That's what they'll try and do here, as Furley drives the ball in once again. Prittis is there, Sivanasiva's there to halt that particular attack from St Helens. They'll build again now through Cunningham, and it goes wide to Long, and further wide to Joint. Good hands, that was a flick from Saylor. And the referee will put the scrum down for the original knock-on, not for the fact the ball went out of play off the boot of Wendell Sailor.
Well, they're certainly creating the chances here. Again, they overloaded the left-hand flank. Sullivan couldn't quite get it. Sailor had to intercept. Saints should get possession back from this scrum in an excellent attacking position.
And here they come with Long, and he gives it width and finds Iro. Iro then to Hoppy. Oh, it wasn't the best pass. Hoppy had to stoop and roll over on his back. But 20 metres away, St Helens have got the tackles in the bag. And they're asking the referee for a penalty because Hoppy wasn't being allowed to get to his feet. Here is Peter Shields. St Helens 13 metres away from the Brisbane line. Cunningham, voted best hooker in the world after the World Cup. And that's the reason why. Great little run to within 5 metres of the line. Iro, Sculthorpe, Long. Shields is halted right underneath the posts. Big opportunity for St Helens. Still 2 tackles in the bag. Nicol, Long, Martin gets it away. Wellens just couldn't take the ball in.
Well, the Brisbane defence will be so relieved. They were short of numbers on the right-hand side. Saints moved the ball to that area, but great take by Martin. Flicks it on, but Wellens can't take it in. Knocks on. Sailor was all at sea. There was nobody at home. The pass couldn't go to hand, and the St Helens chances missed. They won't get too many chances against a quality side like the Broncos. They've got to start converting them.
But at least there is the opportunity there. The ball getting out wide, and maybe that's where the Broncos can be caught.
Well, they have looked dangerous on both the right and left centre position, St Helens. It's important that they take the chances because, really, as Brisbane just advance the ball, they're going to have the job now of probably holding that tight in the middle.
Yes, as much as they've got to be inventive in attack, they now have to stand firm in defence. Sivanasi was able to offload the ball. That flicked off the arms of Prince. Did it go forward? Tallis isn't hanging around to argue the point. And in the end, Tallis is brought to the ground roughly by Iro and by Sean Long. Prince. Lockyer. Kick over the top. And straight down the throat of Anthony Sullivan. Good tackling by Berrigan. Kelly was there as well, just in case.
Been a very fast game. Ball gone out to play on few occasions, and we see now it's one team advance, kick to space, and then see what the others can come back with.
David Furley once again for the Saints. Last meeting, by the way, between these two, let's whisper it quietly, the 1997 World Club Challenge quarter-final. St Helens lost 66-12 in Brisbane.
And Saints have lost possession. Shields in the tackle, whether he was trying to offload it or whether it just popped out. It's no consolation, and Brisbane again now attacking in the St Helens half.
With Sivanasiva, he gets to his feet. Berrigan, the dummy half. Lockyer, as he loves to do, chimes into the attacking line. Priddis to attack down the right-hand side. Good defence from Sullivan. Priddis once again. Change been made by Wayne Bennett. Ginger-haired Brad Myers is on. Priddis gets the ball away. Lee, good ball back on the inside to Webke. Webke gives it to the substitute Myers. That's the last. St Helens, can they hold out? Priddis! Priddis again, back it goes, Myers! Hauled back, great defence.
Great defence, but what attack too from the Broncos. Their inside support asking so many questions of the Saints line. Wellens just as a perfectly placed fullback should be, right on the spot to force Myers back over the try line. Brisbane have certainly turned up the heat now.
And the crowd are turning up the heat on Stuart Cummings. It's with Wellens. Good defence now on show here from Brisbane. Quarter of an hour of this World Club Challenge gone. Sculthorpe. Cunningham will scamper away again. There's Long. Just clips the ball over the top. Turns Darren Lockyer around. And now the chase. Where is it from St Helens? Here it is. Lockyer, though, has got speed to burn.
Does that so well. Gets on the outside of the centre. Very often uses the winger as a foil. What a return there of 20 metres. And almost straight away, the Broncos are back on the attack.
Matautia is on, and so too is Tim Yonkers for St Helens. This match, by the way, being played as the World Cup was, 12 substitutions allowed from 4 men who occupy the bench. So there'll be 1 or 2 changes early on, I think, as the 2 coaches search for the correct formula.
The Broncos certainly working to their right-hand side of the field. Myers now hits the line, the crowd appealing for a forward pass. They're getting a little bit of desperation.
It's the last tackle, and Prince will hoist a high one. This is a real tester. Wellens is up to it.
Oh, that's a fantastic take. What about his presence and awareness to stay in the field of play? He went low so they couldn't force him back into the in-goal area. The Saints fans appealing for a penalty. They need something to get out of this trouble they're in.
Yes, that's 3 tackles gone, and they're only 12 metres away from their own line. Matautia to drive the ball up to the 20-metre mark. 4 tackles gone, though, ominously for the Saints. This is Fairley, and they're all round him. Philip Lee and Brad Myers, that's the last. Now watch for the kick from Sean Long or Tommy Martin. There's Long, and he hits it straight at Lockyer, but it just bounced in front of the Brisbane fullback, and he gained a few more valuable metres there.
What sort of energy now in the Saints chase? Pretty good line, they've coughed up possession.
Joint has it back for the Saints. Here now is Matautia. What an opportunity for the champions. They're 10 metres away. Long to attack the line. Sculthorpe will score. Paul Sculthorpe for St Helens. Well, it looked like the kick was going to be straight down the throat of Lockyer, but he lost the way of it. Picked it up near his own line, then coughed up the possession. And Saints, they were on him like a real pack of hounds.
Saints certainly needed this. The effort in the chase from Long and Martin, really they deserve the credit for the try. Joint it was who came up with possession, and then Matautia just ploughed hard towards the line. From the resulting play, the ball Long darts out of acting halfback and finds Sculthorpe. Goes well to get over, and really it's a reward for all the hard work St Helens have put in the opening stages. They'd worked hard in both attack and defence, but it looked as though they had very little to show for it until that try came.
What a lift for St Helens and Paul Sculthorpe. Just 1 World Cup appearance, and it was right here at Bolton in the semi-final against New Zealand, a match that he would rather forget. Ian Millwood, he has planned, he has plotted for this match ever since the grand final last year. Sean Long now with the opportunity to level the scores with this conversion. The Man of Steel 2000 has missed with his first kick. St Helens 4, Brisbane 6.
The try, though, was a result of one of the reasons why Sean Long was voted Man of Steel last year. He kicked that ball 50 metres, then worked as hard as he could to get it back with good defence. Vision enabled the opportunity for Sculthorpe. Good effort, Sean Long.
Great effort from Paul Sculthorpe. 6-4. And it has to be said that the Broncos actually did struggle just a little bit away from home towards the end of last year. They lost 6 of their last 8 away games in the NRL, though they did win the grand final in Sydney against the Roosters, 14 points to 6. But it was way back on August the 27th, and apart from the World Cup contenders here, not many of this team have played together or indeed played since. Saints have the penalty now.
Saints have had 2 pre-match trials really in preparation for this contest tonight, and one would think that that would benefit them.
Well, if enthusiasm counts for anything, they are really, really keen. 6-4, Wellens gets to his feet, Cunningham. Wellens just hangs on, but Yonkers, well, it came off the head of Tim Yonkers. That wasn't the best passage of play from St Helens.
It's a move they do very often, though. They take it in once in the centre of the field and then come back quickly. Yonkers fresh on the field. Seemed a poor pass. lost possession.
So Scott Prince feeds the scrum. And here now is Michael De Vere. Well, the Broncos know that they're in a bit of a battle. Philip Lee does well to offload. He is Lockyer, so dangerous, as is this fella Tallis, but Fairley doing a good job on him.
Well, they've got red alert call on Gordon Tallis. Every time he gets the ball, 2-3 guys work as hard as they can to clamp the ball and put him on his back.
Sculthorpe had just clamped the ball then on Shane Webke. Tackle completed with Webke on his feet. Prince.
Shows the ball so well inside, doesn't it? Takes defenders off and puts them in two minds.
Here's British, now Brad Myers. Myers tacking that line again. Yonkers, Sculthorpe doing the tackling. Last tackle here though for the Broncos. They're 20 metres away now from the Saints line. Good ball out wide. Oh, he's dropped it. Stuart Kelly.
Well, he just had too much time. Tommy Martin had come in very quickly. You see, he's over the top of Martin. Coughs up possession. Saints now have a bit of a chance to counter-attack. Big hit there now from Kelly. He knows he's made an error. Wellens will have felt that.
Matautia for St Helens. Oh, he tried to offload the ball in an impossible situation. Wendell Saylor's got it.
Well, they're making life so hard for themselves. Handling errors are just really costing St Helens.
Here's Brad Myers again. The handling errors level at the moment, 5-all. Pridis waiting at dummy half. Tallis. Prince. Back to Tallis. Good defence. They've certainly done their homework about Gordon Tallis. Pridis. Good ball control. Webke taking on Joint.
St Helens are short on their left-hand side. They need some help out there.
Pridis gets the ball away. This is Philip Lee. That ball came free. Saints have got it back via Tommy Martin.
Well, we talk about Tommy Martin's vision when attacking, but he read the situation so well there.
And they've just had a penalty, St Helens, because the markers weren't standing square at the play of the ball for Brisbane.
Too often, though, really, they're being forced to defend with desperation on their own line. It's probably a result of the fact they're coughing up possession inside their own half.
Well, they're still inside their own half. Matauti with another driving run, met by Dane Carlaw. That's good play from Fairley. He gets the Saints over the halfway line. Cunningham, the dummy half. Oh, Long juggled with it, but managed to hold on to the possession. Sculthorpe offloads as he falls. Saints with opportunities here from broken play. Cunningham. Well, he did well there, did Berrigan, to stand his ground. Joint. Long to Paul Newlove, who spun away from the would-be tackle of Kelly, but Berrigan was waiting for him. Cunningham, Martin, there's the kick out wide. Looking for Hoppy, looking for Iro. Iro flicks it back. Oh, and Lottie Takiri picked up the loose ball, and the Fijians away.
Well, luck favoured the Broncos. Kevin Arrow did everything right. He rolls for the ball. He knew he couldn't take it. A full interception from Martin.
Brilliant from Tommy Martin. Took the gamble, and the gamble paid off. Now, can they capitalise? This is Yonkers. Here now is Sculthorpe. It's with Iro. Iro, the big fellow, all down. That's how close the Saints are, though. Hoppy, the dummy half. Yonkers, first receiver. On it goes to Long. Long to Matautia. Good defence from Brisbane. Right underneath their own sticks.
They were desperate to clamp possession. They don't want Matautia offloading. Cunningham offloads.
Yonkers does as well, but to nobody in particular. And Stankovic has got it for the Saints. He's taken out Long. And that's a penalty, and Webke pinged by the referee.
I think the Broncos might be quite relieved because there was concerted pressure coming on their line. Saints were playing with the way they style, they know best. Keeping the ball alive. Little chip through from Sean Long. Well, that's clear. Webke. Bit of fatigue setting in after 25 minutes. Getting sloppy and lazy. Takes Sean Long after the kick. Now then, will St Helens opt to kick for goal or keep the pressure on?
I'm sure they'll kick for goal. Shane Webke, 2 tries against St Helens in 1997 in the World Club Challenge quarter-final. And of course Webke, round the shoulders of Long without the ball, a member of the Australians' World Cup winning side.
Possibly one of the best props in the world at the moment.
And here is Sean Long now with his second attempt at goal tonight. This time he finds the mark. Scores a level at the Brisbane. St Helens 6, Brisbane 6.
St Helens, here was a chance. And to be fair, St Helens have created more chance than the Brisbane Broncos. Just haven't been able to capitalise on them. Quick thinking from Tommy Martin. The interception, and really it's getting yourself in possession in that section of the field that creates the problems for the Broncos.
Brisbane restart. Wellens tips the ball inside to Stankovic. Cunningham at dummy half, and here's Matautia again. Cunningham with a scampering run. Yonkers does well, brushes away from Scott Prince, can't get away from the next 2. Cunningham down the short side, finds Iro. Good run from the big fellow Iro. Cunningham again. Infield now to Long, on it goes to Sculthorpe. Brilliant stuff, but into the arms, as it turns out, of Philip Lee. But St Helens always trying to keep this ball alive.
Well, they are so good to watch. The unforced errors now, they did so well really in that passage of play. They hit the short side and look dangerous. They've got to hang on to the ball. Here's Saylor.
This is a danger man. This is a danger man. Gwendal Saylor, tremendous run. Almost like a 7th forward, the Brisbane winger. Tallis still. Just hauled down. 4 gone, 2 to go for St Helens. Prittis, Berrigan. Myers, beautiful support, brilliant, absolutely brilliant play, and a great try from Philip Lee. That was rugby league par excellence.
It's a classic demonstration of why they're said to be the best club in the world. They've withstood tremendous amount of pressure from the St Helens side over the last 5 or 10 minutes, and yet when they get the possession, they're able to attack with such devastating skill. All set up by Wendell Saylor's run. He broke through the heart of the St Helens defence. Eventually hauled to the ground. Tallis took it on, and then here, Berrigan inside to Myers. Offloads again to Prittis, and then Lee supporting again under the post. Brilliant interplay, brilliant support play. Well-deserved try.
Yes, scored by Philip Lee, and filling in the gap left by Kevin Campion. And Philip Lee didn't play throughout last year. He's only just back after a knee reconstruction. And it looks like the surgeon has worked the miracle. So Michael De Vere with this second conversion attempt. Bang in front of the posts. It'll be 12-6 in a moment to the Broncos. 12-6 it is. Well, if we didn't know before this match, Phil, Wayne Bennett, the Brisbane coach, hasn't come 12,000 miles to lose a World Club Challenge.
Well, I don't think he'd ever go anywhere with an intention of anything other than winning. Really, they just punched through the heart of the St Helens defence. I'm sure Ian Millwood would want to tighten them up a little, just compact that defensive line, just to ensure that the Broncos don't break through them again in such manner.
And here comes Webke again with a destructive run from his own line. Prittis. Well, Saylor is getting more and more involved in this match, and that is a little ominous for the Saints.
It's interesting looking from up on the gantry now just how compacted St Helens have made the defence, and yet still the strength of the Brisbane forwards is just forcing them to gain the momentum when taking the ball forward. Prittis now out of action half-back.
And here's Saylor, such a big man. He's away from Newlove. He was almost away from Joint, but Joint got to him second time. Prittis to Scott Prince. Prince examining the defence, he just stepped around Yonkers. It was a good job that Stankovic was there. This is the last tackle. Lockyer, Brisbane will run it. That's too deep.
Well, very unusual from Darren Lockyer, such a good kicker of the ball, both of long distances and the short, dangerous ones into the in-goal area. Far too much speed on that, and a relief for St Helens to come up with possession.
Yes, St Helens with it now in the shape of Anthony Sullivan.
They're almost like fighting Mike Tyson when he was at his best playing the Brisbane Broncos. Within a second they can put you out of your misery. They'll be on the job all the time, concentrating in defence.
Iro, the dummy half, Long, and Matautia try and break the line again. He gets the pass away to Wellens. Wellens, though, was enveloped by Berrigan, then by Myers. Saints just inside their own half. Now they're in Brisbane territory with Cunningham. Cunningham looking to offload there to Iro, held on. Not the best ball. Long, under pressure from Sivanasiva, drops it. Wellens is there, fortunately. Back it goes to Stankovic. Saints are on the last. Oh, they coughed the possession up again. They got themselves in a right schmozzle then, and they couldn't get the kick in.
Well, they've just been too complicated. If you contrast that to the simple manner in which Brisbane have played, just taking the ball forward and waiting for the chances, and then using good support. There's Wendell Saylor. That's taken 4 guys to bring him down. He still advanced the ball 10 metres.
Prittis once again. Tallis drives it in hard, as he always does. Stankovic, Yonkers, Joint. All there to bring him down. There's Walker, first touch from him. Sivanasiva. Prittis waits. Tallis is on his right shoulder, but Joint and Martin do well. And he tried to get the ball away, an impossible situation. St Helens then to counter with Newlove.
See the possession, pretty even. Brisbane have been very simplistic in the way they've used the ball. And what sort of energy have Saints got? They've had to do a lot of defence in the closing stages of this first half, and yet they need to work hard now, not just be content to play it on. They've gone wide.
Ooh, and Peter Shields was almost away. Oh, that's a penalty. Shields' ball-carrying arm touched the ground. He was held, and then he released the pass. Should have been a play the ball. Instead, Shields tried to continue on. That's the moment the tackle's completed. There's the penalty.
He knew as soon as he'd done it, put his hand up, acknowledged now then. Needs a big effort from his teammates here.
It does. They have 6 very important minutes to half-time. Myers.
Stand up, Peter.
They are 12 metres away from the St Helens line, the Brisbane Broncos. Here is Philip Lee. Cunningham wrestles him to the ground. The referee, I think, has he's lost the microphone, I think, or at least the little container that holds the batteries.
No, the jock strap's actually risen up inside.
Stuart Cummings is in a bit of a mess, and Ian Millward is anxious that his defensive line gets set and marshalled. And here is Berrigan for Brisbane. Prittis waits. Penalty. Well, the referee was shouting at Joint to get his hands out. They've spurned the opportunity of 2. They're running it. Broncos. This is Prittis. Berrigan's at dummy half. Back it goes to Philip Lee. He steps around Shields, and Shields gets to him. Second attempt. Prittis. These are vital moments for St Helens. Prince. Lockyer. Big hit by Sean Long.
Read that so well in defence. A bit of a tussle with Tallis.
Tallis the dummy half. Prince. Here's Sivanasiva. Good tackling from Cunningham. Helped out also by Stankovic. Prittis again off the deck. back to Berrigan. There's Walker the sub.
Well, that's better defence from the St Helens side, lifted by that large crowd behind them.
So Saints have it back. They must really keep hold of the ball for the full set of 6 here. Work the ball away from their own line. Shields is trying to do that now.
Well, we saw just moments ago how frustrated Ian Millward looked in the stand. His team not following the simple instructions that he set. Good run again there from Sculthorpe. It's been very impressive in the first half.
Cunningham to Long. Wide to Iro. Iro flicks away at De Vere. De Vere comes back for a second to help him. Hoppy takes the tackle from Takiri. Well, St Helens appealing for a penalty. Stuart Cummings not putting the whistle to his mouth, so this is Yonkers on the last. Now St Helens are within QE of the line. I wonder whether they'll go for a drop. No, they're running it. Ball back on the inside. Tommy Martin wasn't looking there, and he gifted it to Gordon Tallis.
So frustrating. There were 3 other players outside him. He took the inside option. Came to nothing.
He was trying to be very clever, wasn't he? Look, blind pass, but nobody there except Gordon Tallis. And now it's with Wendell Saylor.
Well, very often in rugby league, it's the simple things that are the important things. Converting your chances is one of those. Can't get sloppy now in the last few minutes, Saints.
Now they've got 3.5 minutes of this first half remaining. It's with Sivanasiva for the Broncos. It's the last one. Good defence on show here from St Helens. The kick's going to come in from Lockyer. Massive high kick again, another tester for Wellens. He allows it to bounce, and unfortunately it bounces dead. Lockyer with a high hanging kick, a test for his opposite number.
It's interesting when the Saints have been in possession. Kevin Arrows looked so dangerous on this right-hand centre position. Michael De Vere very uncomfortable when he runs the ball at him. Well, if you can get the ball to him a little more often.
Chris Joynt, still going Chris Joynt. Great captain of St Helens, Joynt. He's with it again. Now it's with Newlove. And here is David Fairley. Well, it's uncompromising, it's competitive, and full marks to St Helens for that. Here's Newlove. Oh, off the fingertips of Wellens. It went backwards though. And Iro did well to retain possession, but it's on the last. And Long from dummy half dabs the kick through, but there's nobody chasing it. The only man chasing it was Sean Berrigan of the Brisbane Broncos.
Well, it's probably fair to say that's been one of St Helens' weakest aspects, the kicking game, especially the short attacking kicking game. Doesn't really cause much trouble.
So 2 minutes for St Helens to hang on, 2 minutes for Brisbane to add to their total. In possession here with Brad Myers. Myers will push for a regular spot this year. Injured foot kept him out for much of 2000. Saylor does so well. What a weapon he is in your armoury. Now then, De Vere underneath the challenge of Hoppy. Clawed to ground by Long and by Iro. Lockyer. Prince on to Takiri. The big Fijian captain gets to his feet. Pridis the dummy half.
They've got to stand strong here now, Saints. Man for man.
Tallis. Quick play the ball. Walker. Berrigan. Oh, that was high from Newlove. He's over. Berrigan is over. The referee will hand it on to the video referee for clarification. But there are St Helens bodies down in back play, and Berrigan has got over for his second try of the match, despite the blood from the mouth.
Well, Wellens is trying his utmost to prevent him from grounding the ball, but he's shoot free of the tackle, grounds the ball and slides forward. Is the ball in control? First call, I'd say no.
Well,
to my mind, he loses possession, loses control of possession as he hits the deck.
It certainly comes out of his hand.
Forward.
It certainly comes out of his hand, Phil, but upper body, does that count? And I think it does, as downward pressure.
probably trying to sway the decision in favour of St Helens, Eddie.
Just a little.
I'm sure
well,
everybody watching at home is saying the same thing, no try.
Well, everybody in this country, our pictures are going, of course, live to Australia at this moment in time. And if there was another gentleman sitting there, he'd be going now, N-O-T-R-Y. Well, what say you?
Well, in his absence, I'd have to agree. Never a try.
Well, it's not Phil, it's not Steve-O, it's the video referee, and Ian Millwood's on his feet. He daren't look. Watch the decision of the video referee. Try is denied. Phil Clark, you got it right, and Ian Millwood knows that might be the great escape.
Well, they were very fortunate not to be penalised for a high tackle. It was Newlove who hit Berrigan, I believe, just before he shook free and slid to the line. See the relief on the Saints players' faces.
Yes, joy on the terraces and relief on the field. It's the turnover, of course, because it was on the last, the fact that that try was denied, and curling away again.
Well, what a threat he could be if only it was down closer to the Broncos line. Again, they want to attack Saints. Yonkers.
This will probably be the last play of this first half. Sean Long takes the tackle. There